Hello and welcome back to my channel, everyone. It is your girl Cassandra, Olivia, and today's video is sponsored by a company called Youth Beauty. They did send me this wig. It is a 13x4 transparent lace frontal and it is 20 inches long. I just added the information in the description box as well. So as you guys already know, I'm just going to show you guys what comes in the packaging. It's your standard wig with the wig cap, and these knots are not pre-bleached or plucked, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that in a second. But I want to show you guys that it does have the standard 3 combs in the sides and the front, and then the one in the back, as well as the adjustable strap that comes with the wig. Now, this is supposed to be a pre-plucked natural hairline, but to be completely honest, this hairline is super full, so I definitely had to pluck it. I don't like my hairline to be this thick. To me personally, it doesn't look super natural and realistic when it's this full. So I'm just going to go in with a spray bottle and a clip and some tweezers, and I'm going to saturate the hair with some water. I'm just going to work on one side at a time because this is pretty thick. And I'm just going to go ahead and start to part out some of the hair in the very front. And then I'm going to go in and start plucking a little bit behind where I'm parting the hair. So the reason why I do this is because if you start at the front, sometimes you can pluck a little bit too much. So if you part out just a little bit of hair in the front, like the baby hair area, like how I kind of did, you start behind it and then you work your way back to the front. And as you're going to see here, I'm just going to start working my way into this thicker area, plucking in different motions, just to make sure that I can try to make this hairline look as natural as possible. Overall, it probably took me about 20 to 30 minutes to pluck, which is a little bit longer than I'm used to. I can normally pluck a unit in about 5 to 10 minutes now, but this unit took me forever because it was on the thick side. And another thing was, there was like a track that started on both sides of this unit. So even though it's a 13x6 closure, there was a track that started about 1.5 inches behind the hairline on the left and the right side. So I just had to go in and make sure that I didn't overpluck in that area. So that way when I pull the hair back up or down, you don't see that first track. And I'll show you guys what I mean in just a second. But I just want to show you guys how I'm really thoroughly going in and plucking this hair out. And I did have to pluck a lot of hair. Like, I'm not even going to be honest, cap with you guys. I'm not even going to cap. I did have to pluck a lot of hair with this unit because, as you can see, it's super full. I felt like I was plucking for 40 days and 40 nights. So I'm just going to get done this section, and I'm going to point out that one section I'm talking about in just a second. Okay, so right here I slowed it down so you can see what I'm talking about. You see how that track is so close to the front of the hairline? So even though it's a 13x4 or 13x6 frontal, you can't do a side part on the left or the right, and you can't part it back too far. So you're technically stuck with like a middle or slightly off-center part because the sides do have the track showing, which I personally don't like. If it's going to be a 13x6 frontal unit, I want the whole front to be a frontal and not a frontal in the middle and very like edges part, if that makes sense. I want it to be a frontal from like the hairline all the way kind of to the middle part of your head, so that way you can part it and do different things. So that was one thing I was kind of disappointed about. And another thing I will mention was that this hair did shed a lot, minus the fact that, you know, of course I had to pluck it, so when you brush it out and you comb it, the hair is going to naturally shed. But as I wore this unit throughout the day, I had like hair pieces on me constantly. Like, I was constantly having to pull hair off of me. So that was another thing that I wasn't really feeling, only because, for you guys know, these units don't be cheap. So if you're going to spend your money, I don't want to spend money on a unit that I'm going to have to do a lot of work to. And I definitely want to spend money on a unit that is going to have to, what's the name? I just lost my whole train of thought. Hold on, y'all. It's coming back. I don't want to spend my money on a unit that's shedding. Like, that's not a good look. So the knots are super thick on this unit, and the lace is even kind of thick. So what I had to do was go in with some BW2 lightener, and I did go ahead with some 20 volume, and I mixed this lightener with some Arctic Fox Aquamarine just to give it a blue base. So that way we can go ahead and start to use the blue undertone to cancel out any orange. So as you can see, I'm just gonna apply this all over. I did use kind of a lot of this blue, so I did have to end up mixing a little bit more of the lightener powder just to dilute it a little bit more because it came out navy blue at first, and that's not what I was going for. And I did let this sit for 45 minutes. I set a timer, and then I also put foils on top, and I smushed it on the hair. Now, what this is going to do is cause hot roots, but I'd rather have hot roots that I can fix than have knots that aren't fully bleached. And because this lace is a little bit thicker, I just want to make sure I did my due diligence. So don't freak out when you see this part, guys. I'm literally going to show you how to fix that. So right now you can see the roots are very hot, super orange, but the knots are bleached, and that's the goal. So now I'm just going in with my Gora hair color in the shade 1. And I'm going to go in with a 20 volume developer or 10 volume developer as well, and then just put this all over. I'm lying. I went in with a 6 volume. I'm lying. I went in with a 6 volume developer. I diluted it, and then I just apply this all over, just making sure to be kind of light and gentle. Now, I do color hair all the time, and I don't typically over bleach my knots ever, but when I do, you just want to make sure that you use very light pressure. This is going to look like I'm going super hard because I am fast forwarding this video, because it did take me about an hour to shoot this. But just be careful how you're applying this black, because the lace is transparent, and if you get black on the lace, it's going to cause staining, and you don't want black stains on your lace. So I literally just applied it a little bit close to the root as I could, and then I used the rest of this little mini comb here just to work it down all the way to the root. And then I just parted the sections and then just worked the black through. I didn't keep reapplying it. I literally applied a tiny bit of black, and then I just used this comb literally to comb it through. And then I let this sit for about another 10 minutes just to make sure all of the knots are thoroughly, not the knots, all of the hair is thoroughly colored and we don't have any hot roots, because that's never a good look, okay? So I'm just reapplying just a tiny bit, combing it through. It's about maybe 5-6 minutes in. I saw it was already changing, but I just want to part it how I'm going to have my part. And just make sure where I'm going to part it also is not going to have any hot roots, okay? So again, I did this intentionally because the lace is a little bit thicker. And sometimes when you try to bleach the knots on thicker lace, it won't go all the way through, and then you're left with like these brassy orange knots, or it won't bleach at all. You have some knots that are still brown, some knots that are blonde. And I wanted to make sure that I did not have to do this again because I didn't have time to do it again. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna put it on like this and then just go in and comb the black. So it only took me about an extra 10 minutes. I rinsed this off, and then I did let it air dry. I molded it, and then this is how it looked towards the end. So as you can see, the hairline is looking really good now. But if you're a beginner, I'm just letting you guys know straight up that you are gonna have to put in some work. So here I have on my stocking cap. This is what the unit looks like dry. I'm just popping it on. I did adjust the straps in the back, and I'll show you guys that in just a second. I do have a 21 circumference of my head, so I just want to make sure that that is fitting nice and well. And then I'm going to go in and start to cut the lace. Now, you guys know I have a small head, so I'll always end up having to cut by both of my ears and, of course, the front, just customizing it to my personal hairline. But you just want to make sure that you're careful when you do this. So I always cut one side and then cut the other. And another thing, this is transparent lace, which means it's going to look ashy or like a grayish tone, which means you're going to have to apply either some lace tint, some makeup, or something to make the lace your shade, okay? So just keep that in mind as well. I know it looks a little crazy here, and I'm going to show you how it looks in regular lighting. My lighting is super bright, but that's because I wanted you guys to know what to expect when you put this on. This is lace, okay? So lace is meant to be blended, but some types of lace show more than others. So I want you guys to be like have realistic expectations of what lace looks like when it's actually on your scalp versus having a filter on it, okay? So now I'm just going in with some foundation that I have on, and I'm just applying that all over. And as you can see, it's already starting to look a lot better. And now I'm just going in, pulling out some baby hairs and just playing around with the part a little bit. And then I am going to adjust the straps again, just making sure that it's nice and snug, because you guys know I like to wear my units glueless. So this one is definitely going to be glueless, okay? I'm not sure the density. I believe this was 150% density, but you guys can see as I'm combing it, I'm literally brushing hair off of me. But even after I brushed it out, styled it, curled it, it was shedding. And I just want to let you guys know that, because I don't want you guys to spend your money and then be coming at me and trying to drag me, okay? This is my honest review. So now I'm just going in, cutting these baby hairs. It's going to look a little janky, but I'm just going to go in. I did curl these off camera, and then I'm going to go in and start to mold it with some foam wrap. You just want to be careful if you do glueless, because you don't want it to lift if you have molded it down into shape, okay? So I'm reapplying a little bit more foundation, and now I'm just going in with my flat iron and just curling my hair just to give it a little bit of body movement. And then once I'm done, I'm going to add the snippet that I put on Instagram of me doing my transition of how it looked before and after. I did like a cute little transition video. So if you want to see that, just be sure to go on the gram. On here, I did have to post it muted just because I did not want to be copywritten, but you get the gist, okay? So I will tag Youth Beauty's information all down below. Let me know your thoughts on this company. Have you worked with them before? I've actually worked with them one time. I had like a red bob wig a while back. That was pretty decent, but I don't know. Something was just going on with this hair, and I just kind of wasn't feeling it. You kind of see it in my face. I was a little bit irritated, but it all came together in the end. But I just don't like a unit that I have to do a lot of work to. I like units that are pretty much get up and go. So this is my video, and I hope you guys enjoy. And I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will link everything down below. Peace.